INTPs and everyone who is watching, who is interested in this single life form here named James, the fellow INTP, or your resident INTP, to say it that way. Merry Christmas. And if you, as you can tell, or if you haven't noticed, it's been a while since my last video, and I've been thinking, and there was a recent thought that I'll just start with that. That's really the core of what I want to share today, which is I think authenticity always finds a way. I think the reason why people quit on certain things is because they think the way that everyone else does that thing is what you're supposed to do. And I wanna challenge that. Specifically, what I'm talking about here is YouTube. I was just listening to a podcast by a guy named Graham Cochran. Here's Graham Cochran over here. I put him on ENFJ. And he is someone that teaches people how to do online business, right? And he talks about certain things that he says to do. For example, always post content. Okay, I can do that, I think. However, the content that you post for him as an ENFJ is all about serving the customer, serving the audience. I don't know. I can't see myself authentically doing that for a long time. I can't post every day. No offense, but I can't post every day about you. Authentically, as an INTP, I have theories. I have ideas I want to explore, and that's what I would love to share with you, right? So, if I am to keep on posting very frequently, then it cannot be about you. And I realized that, and I basically said, "F this guy." I realized that the only way to do this sustainably is to be authentic. And the bigger idea of this video, just to put it out there, is I want to talk about what I value, what turns me on, and what I think people value, what I think each type. I'm not going to systematically go through all the types, but I'm going to talk about how people's values may just seep out in everything they say. They may even create businesses that espouse these values. And that doesn't mean that they're right. It just means that they went first in their authenticity, and they went all in. And because they went all in, it worked. And then now people are trying to copy them, but they don't have to. If you are an INTP like me, I feel like there are better people to copy. And ultimately, you can't copy. I mean, this is... Okay, I view Bruce Lee as ENTP. And Bruce Lee essentially talked about that too. He said... what did he say? I'll just bring up that quote right now to drive that point home. Yes, there it is. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. I feel that this is every person's journey in life, especially INTPs, because, and Actually, I think everyone's journey will be that. It's just, it won't sound like that because their values are, for example, the ENFJ, they're all about other people and taking care of them. So they're not going to say this. They're not going to directly disagree with you. But maybe very quietly, they will simply not follow you because that's not their path. So I think we all are absorbing what is useful, discarding what is not, and adding what is uniquely our own. And that is the path that will lead to the destination that you value. See, once again, the destination is also different for each of us. So I want to talk about all this. But the idea I was going over after listening to him was like, oh, yeah, it's really cool that you came up with a podcast that way and you made a business doing that. And I don't have to do that. I'll just say it like that. And I don't have to do that. As an INTP, I have a very different life path. And let me bring up our 8 functions. And we can just talk about what I can use. I'll first bring in a quote that I was thinking about as I was thinking about this, and then we'll connect it to the functions, and some of the life paths that I've seen, and once again, like, these are life paths that I don't have to follow. So here's a quote that I keep coming back to in my life. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. And it is my theory, essentially, that what makes you come alive as an introvert, if you're an introvert, what makes you come alive will sound to an extrovert selfish and also not real. But that's fine, because the extrovert cannot see your world. And the introverts out there, for example, I got, by the way, if you can see, like, I have many books, like one big goal of mine right now is to just do incredible amounts of input, and I will update on that later in this video. But my life path will be of a very personal, subjective flavor compared to an extrovert. An extrovert will be out there because that's what they value, and that is what they see as reality. So one example of an introvert who had a path that influenced us all. I mean, first of all, right? I would say that many of these people that wrote books, they are also likely introverts by nature, as long as they are thought leaders. Like, maybe there are people that wrote books to say how to do this. If they say how to do this, they're probably an extrovert. But the people that share they do research and they share this incredible idea, I would suggest that they're likely introverts because they've done the internal journey of refining their idea, and they're sharing an idea. And then an extrovert would say, okay, that's great, this idea, but like, what did you do? See, but they did something. Ultimately, they did something, but it's just the introverts thing, right? The person I'm talking about here is Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius essentially wrote like a very thoughtful diary. And this thoughtful diary turned into one of the most influential pieces on Stoic philosophy that there ever was. I mean, this was written in 100 AD, right? I'll read this. I haven't read it yet. But I see it as a key part of my journey to read, to take in rapid amounts of input, because I feel that input is a talent of mine that I do not have to resist. The extroverted thinkers out there will question it and discount it, but they will not do it. See, like they will not go down that path. And so I've been thinking recently, clearly that means that it is a talent, and a talent that often can go unused in a extroverted thinking dominated world, right? So let's go into the INTP functions and talk about what this suggests it is that I value. And maybe let's find also an abridged version, INTP functions. Let's see if there's an image that's shorter. Yeah, we can do both. So, TINESIFE. And really quick, what that is, introverted thinking, which is logic. Extroverted intuition, which is brainstorming and exploration. Introverted sensing, which is memory and just past experience. Extroverted feeling, which is serving the group, to be very general there. And what I've been thinking about recently is how really the things that I find, the things that are my reality are my own personal logic, what I have concluded and figured out about the world, and the possibilities and suggestions that those have. And as a very I would say like this: SI is simply a tool I use to explore my reality, which is my theories and what they suggest. Which, by the way, is what I'm sharing with you, and thus I'm finding this video worth posting and sharing with you, right? Now, let's talk about how, if you happen to be a different type, for example, if you're an extroverted thinker, if you're an ENTJ, you might find this interesting. You might find what I'm saying here interesting, because you're TE, so you're fanning out and you're listening to all the TI to get a better feeling for what everyone thinks, right? But you would never think that doing this is worth your time. And also like an extroverted feeler would say oh, that's great, but what are you doing for people? And so on. Everyone will default. Everyone feels that their reality is real. And so they will speak directly from it. And what I'm asserting here is I can do that too. As an INTP, I can do that too. And my reality is just as valid. Something I've been thinking about and I want to speak to is what is the traditional culture? I mean, I'm an English speaker. I'm from the U.S. What is the traditional culture of the United States, and what is the traditional culture of recent history? Is, I think, because of the industrial age and the capitalist nature of the world, and also because we came from poorer time, well, not poor, just the resources were fewer, that the general gestalt, the general sense of the world right now is, and we're moving out of it, but traditional culture is TESI, ESTJ. That's great, but bottom line, what will that give me? I need to take care of myself, personal responsibility, taking action, getting a lot done, making money. This is the very foundational culture of the world, and we're still in it. I mean, and as people get more educated, people escape the very practical pool of financial troubles. This culture can shift, but this is still the general survival mindset of the world. And thus, the people that are based on tradition and history and past experience, the SI types, they will parrot, they will say the exact same thing that the TESI people have said in the past. And they will talk about grit, perseverance, bottom line thinking, right? Yes, that's their reality. That's what I want to speak to is that's their reality. That's what they think is important in the world. And they can do that. And if I do that, then I will simply lose meaning. I will lose my ability to come alive. I will not speak to what matters to me, and thus is the wrong path. For an INTP, that is the wrong path. What is the right path? The right path is to come up with theories and explore the implications of what they are, and to extend further in to become fully holistic. And you see this sometimes in interviews with Elon Musk. Ultimately, it's to make the world a better place, right? But ask me to talk to a person or take care of a person, that's not as meaningful as this. It's not as meaningful as my theorizing and exploring. But ultimately, like if this could all make the world a better place, then it's all worth it. So these are the meanings of my life. And what I've realized, what I want to talk about is that's what my videos can be about. And that's what my career, see, like career is a TE word, so that's what my life can be about. That's a more authentic way to say it. And to a person who's practically minded and survival, like they're in survival, they're not going to think that's important. But hey, I'm an INTP. That's what I think is important. So what does this mean about like how my videos will be and what my output will look like? Well, it will not be FE. It will not be TE. I don't think I am inspired by running a business. I'll be honest. I'm inspired by discovering possibilities and building upon possibilities. And so I will share theories. I will share possibilities. And of course I won't block myself out of any of this, but I'm just speaking to what is most important to me. And I will do everything I can to feed TINESI. And what that has meant recently is just ingesting as much content as I can and creating theories from them. I've recently read a lot of Dan Koh's blog. And if you are an INTP, I would suggest you to look into Dan Koh's blog. Because my read on him is he is also an INTP like us. And he is an excellent example, I think, of an INTP who has gone full on INTP and ultimately found monetary success. Someone else like that is Leo Gura of Actualize.org. Both people whose life truth is oriented around research and the construction of knowledge. So I'm inspired by that, and for that reason, I purchased Dan Koh's products. And I mean, by the way, Dan Koh, he has a product on how to run a business like his, and his business is oriented around synthesizing impactful ideas and sharing them with the world, such that people feel insight and then they want to share it with people, right? Very different from Graham Cochran, the ENFJ, who is there to lead people and help them get to where they want to go. There's the ENFP, Myron Golden, who says, here's what I believe. Let me be obsessed with you and know what you like, and so I'll sell you what you want. Tim Ferriss, INTJ, he says, oh, all those ways of doing it, they're all inefficient. They're all wrong. Here's the fastest way, the 4-hour work week, right? What are some other examples? Alex Hormozy, ENTJ, he says, default to no, don't change anything. Whatever you find that works, exploit that like crazy until it no longer works. You probably are trying too many things. Do that one thing. See, that's very much the opposite of an INTP. And then, there are all kinds of examples for ISFJ, ISTJ. Brian Tracy, if you ever look at him, I actually put him on ISTJ right now. That's my guess. But Picasso, probably ISFP. And he was very much output oriented, not really any plans, just by default, if there was time in his day, he was making art. So, doing a disparate exploration of people to understand that there is no one truth, there's no one right way here. But as Jung, what Jung what Jung explored and what he suggests and what we can feel is that the self inside you knows. And you can tell because it feels meaningful and it feels important. And so that's an idea I wanted to explore. And if I orient myself that way, then I can easily just post tons of videos, because that's a message that I can stand behind, and I can aim to exemplify. That being said, I'd like to share with you the most recent experiments that I have been running, and the inputs that I have been consuming. I mean, there are many others, as you can see. I shared them, but here I'll show you some more. This is my experiment board where there are many experiments I will be running. These are the ones I will be running, right? I am doing a quantum computing tutorial just to understand what quantum computing is. That's through the IBM Qiskit library. I've read the Apocrypha, and I'll also give you a quick review on some of these, just real quick. This Man and His Symbols is by Jung, Carl Jung, who also came up with, he wrote a book on the psychological types. This is great. This really helps understand the basis. Like his Jung's work was largely on the unconscious mind, and types is just one aspect of the unconscious. The Book of Enoch and Apocrypha, or the Apocrypha, these are books about books that were considered very important by Jewish scholars and biblical scholars, but they were ultimately not included in the contemporary Bible. And it was interesting reading about them. And my biggest takeaway was that people are inspired to write words of wisdom just constantly. It's like human nature. And so, the modern books we have today are like today's Bible. And we will continue to write Bibles for as long as humans are, we will just continue to write Bibles. We will continue to write wise words. And these are some that were written right around between the Old and New Testament. The Kabbalion, which is about Hermetic philosophy, excellent book. I love it. I think I will probably reread that a few times, just to really help it drive home. I tried Codium Windsurf, which is an AI-based code editor, and Cursor. I'll keep trying them, but part of me feels like they're a little too limited by the word output of the LLM. And sometimes I feel like I can go faster if I don't have to wait for the LLM to update the text. But that's my first thought. Intelligent idea. I still haven't. I intend to explore that. Rewatching Inception. I watched the intern. Each of these I'm also watching with Korean subtitles, just to learn Korean at the same time. Not much to say here. And these are my experiments right now. And I'll show you the ones that call out to me most. Assemble the 3D printer. I have a 3D printer back there that I'm going to learn about. And the Arduino book. These are ones that feel important for me to do right now. In addition, I have reached 81 kilograms, which is 179 pounds. And my aim is 160 pounds, or 73 kilograms. And that's a very interesting experiment as well. The method of the weight loss is simply calorie counting. And calorie counting, I feel, is actually it's related to a very interesting meta skill, which is budgeting, or just metrics and tracking. I'm out of calories today, and so my food is done. So branching many ideas, just grab back, throwing them out to you. As an aside, I had a very interesting thought related to this. Calorie counting, from one way you can view it as being restrictive, but from another way it can be viewed as being permissive. Like, as long as it's within the calorie count of the day, you can eat whatever you want. And I was thinking about expanding that to money budgeting for a month or so. And my experiment was almost like I can treat the budget like orders. Like, for example, $1,000 investment budget or something, or $200 investment budget, and I have to invest that, or else the next month the money goes away. It's like this idea of like the lump sum of my budget is all money that will go away next month. So I need to use it for those categories. And that's an interesting idea to me because in my head it flips the paradigm of what a budget is. Or like usually it feels like budgets are being restrictive, but that is actually being permissive. Saying like, hey, here's the money. Use it for those purposes. So, grab that, throwing everything out, and this video that I just made right here, is the best I can do right now, and we'll see what the next idea comes for how to improve upon it. Maybe one day I'll be inspired to limit the video to talk only about the things that the title talks about, and have chapters and 1, 2, 3. But I doubt that actually. I don't think that'll ever happen unless there's something I specifically want to teach you. But yeah, mainly, like, the main thing I wanted to talk about is that idea of the theory right now that if I move in the direction of what I find most meaningful, then in the view of what I feel is my purpose of life, I will be successful, which has nothing to do with anyone's really view of what is important in life, except for INTPs. To understand and explore the world and process what I've learned, to continue to understand and explore, in the aim to ultimately create theories that help the world. Everything else is secondary to that. I mean, the other four functions. If you look at the other four functions, you can see things that don't really matter to me. And yeah, wanted to share that, and I will continue to update you. I hope you're doing well. I hope this has helped someone. Not hurt. I hope this has helped someone, and maybe given someone a little bit more freedom to be themselves. Maybe. See you next time.